So one of the strongest witches in manga history has been born, and his name is Ichi. A feral boy who lives high in the mountains, always looking for his next hunt. But it gets much deeper than this, because when Ichi was just 6 years old, he was abandoned in the woods with nothing but a knife and a small ration of food. But when the food went dry and Ichi was at the brink of death, he came to the conclusion that maybe the knife wasn't for self-defense, but really it's to off himself when the time came.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Now, as he laid on the ground prepared to end it all, he was attacked by a wolf. Now you would think that at this point Ichi would just let it happen and the wolf would have its way, but Ichi subconsciously still had the will to live and the will to fight. And with what little strength he had, he used the very knife he thought was meant for his own life to slay his first beast and get his first meal.
Oh, snap!
Now for him this is just the beginning, as he will learn to catch fish, forage for edible food, fruits and berries, as well as learned gratitude for life, but most importantly he learned how to hunt.
Stewie.
Now, as time went by, he basically became the protector of the village at the bottom of the mountain he lived in, even taking out this moose that was literally kicking people to death whenever they seen it. Now you would think of Ichi as an animal in his own right, even developing a sense of combat so strong he could detect bloodlust, murderous intent, and because of his keen sense, he was able to basically tell when somebody was even lying. Ichi also doesn't kill for sport. He goes off his one rule, death for death. This means any being that doesn't face him with killing intent, Ichi will not have to kill. Now the next thing is murder. Killing things that you don't intend to eat isn't hunting, and bearing your fangs towards him will trigger death for death. But what does it have to do with witches though? Enter Desscaras.
He called me some fine shit. He called me some fine shit.
If I've said it wrong, let me know in the comments. The Abyssal Witch, one of the most overpowered witches in the series to date. Now, Desscaras isn't your average witch, as she is usually tasked with hunting the most strongest of magics. Now, in this manga, magic is alive, and they take different forms and have all unique powers. And it's said that they made contact with humanity a long time ago, where a talking blob appeared out of nowhere.
Where are these mommies at? Where are these big booty Latinas at? Where are female human beings, and why are they not here? Sup, little mama? Shawty got the fatty, I'll be straight up, and I'm interested in that.
Now, in this world, the only way to work or acquire magic is by completing a trial. So if the trial happens to be water magic, and its trial is for the witch to drink every drop of water it's presented to you, you have to do it. And if you do not pass the trial, then you do not get to acquire the contract. But only witches are allowed to acquire magics, as only women have the ability to use magic in this series, thus being able to go into a contract with magics. But not every trial is going to be as simple as the water magic, because in this world there are magics that either hate humans or simply want to be left alone. But there is one magic that has plagued the witches to no end, even had some of them running for their lives. Because entering the chat is King Uroro, the king of magics. But the witches have been hunting him, but he would always continue to slip away. He's a magic so strong, he is said to level mountains, drink rivers dry, and even murder for no reason. He's a beast with nothing but hatred for humanity, with one simple rule. Stopping his heart is the only thing a witch must do to acquire him, but there's a catch that this sneaky calamity withholds. And this is the reason why he hasn't been acquired in over 1,000 years. Which kind of lets me believe that humanity and magics met and began contacting each other 1,000 years ago, so that's probably like the time frame. But this motherfucker's loophole is that no woman could acquire him.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
That's right. He cannot be captured by any woman. Thus, this specific magic cannot be acquired by any of the witches. So the only way to deal with him is to destroy him completely. But he made one mistake. He stepped into the wrong mountain. He took a nap in the wrong area because he stepped into the goat Ichi's hunting ground.
Oh, snap.
But one thing that's discussed in the manga is that Ichi has already known about Uroro being in the area. He sensed him there. Now the reason Ichi and Uroro have never fought yet is because Uroro has not murdered anyone, thus not really prompting Ichi to fight him in the first place, though Ichi has been sitting and waiting for that moment, waiting for the right day till he gets to fight the ultimate beast. But once Desscaras entered the chat, his murderous intent was leaking everywhere. And like a shark in the water, my boy Ichi smelled it from a mile away, triggering his death for death. And as Desscaras was at the verge of death due to Uroro's ridiculous rule that no woman can tame him, it looked like her time was up. Until the unexpected happened. Ichi appeared in a funny and awkward interaction as both Uroro and Desscaras both stared confused, like who the hell is this bozo coming out of the forest?
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
But we almost remember that this is his forest. This is Ichi's domain.
Of course!
And he had laid traps all around the area for the day that he would get to hunt Uroro. And no matter how hard Uroro tried to escape the trap, he couldn't, because the more he resisted, the more he would be restrained. And that's when our MC, Ichi, declared death for death, attacking the King of Magic, shattering the glass heart, thus completing the trial and becoming the first man witch and the first person in 1,000 years to acquire Uroro, the King of Magics. But how strong is Ichi now? Well, since this is something that's new, that's never happened before, Desscaras had to bring him in, but not without a slight hiccup. You see, but in her attempt to control the situation, she instructs Ichi not to say any chants. But Ichi's been in the forest the whole time. He's not a woman, so he doesn't know about witches. Telling him to not chant anything inadvertently causes him to speak his first chant. And that chant would be Lazud. Now, Lazud destroyed a whole chunk of the forest, leaving nothing but gravel. Now, if they were fighting further up on top of the mountain and he would have used Lazud, he probably would have put a hole right through the mountain. Now, Ichi's ability to use magic should not happen. And at the off chance that it does, it is said that the mere chances are at 0.001% chance. This was a complete miracle, and it gave birth to one of the strongest witches alive in Ichi the Witch manga. So what do you think of my first true manga breakdown, Ichi the Witch? This is the first chapter. I mostly meant to just talk about him, but I didn't want to just talk about him without discussing what really happens and how he got his abilities anyways. So basically this is a full chapter breakdown. So leave your comments down below if you've read this manga or if you're looking to, or even have it on your wish list, and subscribe for more, as there are 75 more chapters of this that I would love to discuss with you as you join me in the experience of Ichi the Witch.